Today on Comm Talk, we're going to be talking about where in the world have we been?
Where in the world has Comm Talk been?
Ooh, I can't sing. Okay, what is happening here?
Where are we?
Glix, give us a situation report.
Currently, we are on the planet Geekery. Be warned, our impossibility drive may cause distortions as we traverse this land. Impending impossibility engaging in 3, 2, 1.
Hello, devoted geeks, and welcome to Comm Talk, the podcast extension of Geek Devotions, the YouTube show from a couple of devoted geeks who are devoted to letting people know that they are loved. And guess what? This is episode 58 of Comm Talk. We're 2 away from like 60.
Wow.
It's only taken us like, what?
2.5 years?
2.5 years. With breaks in between.
Something like that. We are really not great at this podcast thing.
We're really struggling with this one.
We struggle with it.
So, wow, you're really pretty loud there.
We got new miking system.
Yeah.
So this is why he's saying about my loudness.
So, in the meantime, let's talk about what's happened since we've disappeared. We've got new equipment.
So
that's pretty cool.
Yeah. Last time we spoke, we were on with our good friend Josh Berkey.
Yeah.
Talking about
Superman.
Because
we're on the journey through
the Superman District.
The Superman District of Geekery. We're taking a pause from that today.
Yeah, we are.
We were talking about Superman 1952, The Adventures of Superman.
Josh hated it.
Josh hated that one passionately. Josh, if you're listening to this,
vehemently,
thank you for suffering through.
We appreciate it.
Even though we liked it.
We enjoyed it. we understand the suffering, but that's another podcast.
That's another
podcast.
Day. Coming soon. So, but anyways, we were, for us, equipment wise, it was a Google Hangout, so the audio was already a little different.
Yeah.
Typically when we do that, we have our guests record their own podcast, our own audio, and then we do ours and splice it. That time, I just took the audio from the podcast.
Yeah, it was a little bit easier.
Yeah. So, but we were using, personally, what we've been using is a blue snowball.
Yes.
And it works great.
Which ironically is white.
It is white. But it worked really well for us for, 2 years?
Yeah. Well, we bought that well before we started podcasting because I was looking into getting into voice acting, which I'm just now starting to dip my toes into. So I'm even worse at that than I am at podcasting.
So, well, you had that little pause. You did the book.
Yes.
You did the book.
Well, no, we bought it well before the book.
Right. But you did progress. You did do a book.
Yeah. And
the author, just for whatever reason, hasn't done anything with it.
She has to approve it so it can go to Audible's approval system.
Right, but she's done nothing.
Yeah, no.
Period. So
not even contact. I
hope she's okay.
I do too. I was kind of actually worried about that. I'm seriously concerned about her because that was in October that I recorded that book. So I recorded an audiobook, guys. And
it was great. I listened to it.
It was hysterical. I showed it to one of my friends at work, and another guy came from the back of the office and was like, "What are you two doing?" And I was like, I recorded an audiobook. You want to listen? And he's looking at me and listening to the voices, and he's like, "How does this match up?"
I really, really hope it comes out because you did such a great book. Or you did a great job with the voices.
It was such a cute little story. It was
fun.
A kid's book.
Yeah. So, but since then, we've upgraded our audio system.
Yes.
And thankfully, Lord's blessed us, and we've been good to save some funds, and we had a decent tax return, and we're being responsible, paying on bills.
Yeah, we were able to put a good chunk out of my school loans,
which is such an awesome blessing.
Knocked it down a little bit.
So we decided to invest in Geek Devotions, to invest in the show, invest in Comm Talk, and so we got some equipment. And just for those we do have patrons who support us on a monthly basis. This investment did not come from our patrons.
No, we are not at the level where we feel we have the responsibility to use patron money for equipment.
So for those of you who don't know, the way our patron works is we have giving goals, And the first giving goal was just to be able to support us getting certain geeky things on a monthly basis. Yeah. And so to help...
Like DC
Universe, comic books, stuff like that, going to see movies. And also, we use a little bit of it sometimes to help support things that we have going on.
Yes.
We had there was a need that came up within our community, one of the guys that we're connected with. And so we collectively talked about it. No, actually, we did do that, didn't we?
We talked about using the Patreon money.
That's right.
But we felt like we would have had to have had permission from the Patreons before giving it to someone else.
That's right. So we had that whole conversation.
So what we did was we took money from our T-shirts, and
which is separate,
and gave that because the need was more pressing.
Exactly.
It needed
we didn't have time to wait.
We did not have time to wait. So now I happen to believe that most of our patrons would have been okay with it, but I feel like that is also something that would have needed to be cleared.
I'm getting confused because I got on there real quick to let our patrons know that if they hear that we did this, it was not using Patreon money, that we were honoring, because that's the thing is we want to honor these guys who support us, these guys and ladies who support us. And so we let them know when we do something that's kind of out of the normal. So, but this is not a patron paid. This is us. We take care of this. And what we got was we got a Focusrite Scarlett 2i2, which is a unit that we can plug in actual legitimate XLR microphones, which everyone goes, these are much better than the, what do you call them? USB microphones.
USB mic.
And then years ago, somebody gave me an SM58 by Shure, which is what I'm talking on right now.
It looks like it's black with like a silver bulb at the top, for those of you not techie people.
It's like the original one to look like this. The 58 and the 57, I just heard this today from one of our mic aficionados that we have in our church. And he's like, this microphone and the 57 were the very first ones to look like this. Like the emojis, the microphones that look like this.
Yeah.
It's because of this.
The ones you think about when you say drop the mic.
Yeah. This is the OG.
We will not be dropping the mics.
No, we will not be dropping the mic.
We paid good money for the mic.
Well, the other mic we have is the P120 by AKG. And that's what Celeste is on right now.
Sounds like a rapper.
It does. AKG P120 in the siphon. And
I wish you could see him with the hand motions right now.
So we're still working out the bugs. I have to talk a little bit hotter or a little louder because my mic is really soft. Hers is a little hotter.
Yes, because I am the quieter one.
Yeah. So we just took up like 6 minutes of this podcast
talking about this stuff. This is not what we meant to talk about.
No,
guys.
But we're excited about it though.
This is our first time using it because we haven't been podcasting.
Right.
So this is the first time getting to use the new stuff. So we're kind of excited about it. We're kind of excited about the fact that we're not having to like squish together to talk onto one mic. That we can actually like look at each other.
Which is this I think will change the dynamic of our podcast. Being able to look each other eye to eye.
Yeah.
And instead of having to go, hey, back up a little bit because your breath stinks. And I'm like, I'm sorry, Celeste. And so
I'm glad you specified that because you were about to get the stink eye.
So that's what we got going on. Again, these are just small investments that we've made into what we do here, our ministry at Geek Devotions.
Because we firmly believe that we should sow into it first before we ask other people to sow into our ministry.
Right. And so, and just so people know, we do. We're not just begging for money. That being said, if you want to be a patron, if you want to sign up and support our ministry, you can. Go to patreon.com/Geek Devotions, and you can sign up for as little as $1 a month.
Yeah.
Support our ministry, and that'd be awesome. We're not too far off from stage 2.
Yes, which is when we can get the really fun equipment like better lenses and lights. And I think the audio stuff was originally on that list of wants, but then we decided to do that ourselves. Well,
it is part of our list of wants, but also it's beyond. Like this equipment right here is going to help us a little bit. And you guys are going to see a little bit of this in our YouTube show, but it's not the end game for
it's not.
Like we're looking at getting a decent shotgun mic.
Yes.
For the show, we're looking at getting
for the boom dinosaur.
Boom dinosaur. We need to find a way to rig him up for that. But we also need to get something for when we travel, as far as doing cons, because this is not going to work.
No, this setup does not work for interviews.
Right. Not interviews on the fly in the middle of a con.
Because if we set up like this in the middle of the con, they'd be like, what you doing?
Exactly. So this is a studio. This is maybe a quick setup. I can go to a location, drop these, and go, but it takes a minute. So we need like a shotgun mic for the camera.
Yes.
Or some recording device that's on the go.
Mm-hmm.
Shotgun mic for in studio, which will be separate from this. So it actually go through the focus right, which will be cool. It's just a matter of having the right pieces.
Yes. So, needless to say, this is not the last update we will make. This is just the update we have made recently.
Exactly. And again, the show grows. Again, we're very big about making sure what we do is quality.
Yeah.
We're always trying to do better quality because oftentimes Christian media sucks.
Yeah.
And it gets dogged on, not just because people disagree with the message. That's one thing. I don't mind people dogging our show because they disagree with our message.
Absolutely. If you disagree with us, let us know.
And let's have a civil conversation.
Exactly. We'll be nice to you. You be nice to us.
Exactly. But if it's a matter of our quality and it's something I could fix, it's one thing we can't fix it. But it's something we can work on, we can fix. Hey, let us know. Let's fix things. So that's kind of where we're at with this equipment. This is what we're doing with the show. Again, Patreon members, our devoted Patreon geeks, you guys are amazing. Thanks for supporting us.
We love you.
Like our last several episodes of our podcast, and in fact, the entire Superman District series that we're doing here,
brought to you by Patreon.
Our devoted Patreon geeks.
Yes.
Patreon does not pay us.
No, they don't. But the Patreon geeks, if without them, we would not be able to have access to this much of Superman. We might could do something, but it would not be this extensive.
Right. Exactly. So, thanks to them, we'd be able to do this, and we're excited about it. Speaking of Superman, segue.
Superman.
We will be on Retro Rewind podcast soon. We're recording. When this comes out, we recorded with them on this past Thursday. So the next episode should be coming out in the next week or so.
Yeah.
And we're talking about Superman 2.
Yeah.
So you guys might remember we did Superman 1, which actually started off this whole Superman District thing.
It did.
And so
there was weirdness with tacos, and go listen to the whole retros since Superman.
Yeah. It was fun.
They had some really fun creative stuff on their podcast.
So, but yeah, that's the thing. So check that out. Retro Rewind Pod on Twitch and Twitter and Facebooks. And, but Retro Rewind Podcast on iTunes, Google Play.
And YouTube.
And the YouTubes. Yes.
I accidentally booped my nose against the mic. It threw me off for a minute. I was like, oh God. So if you heard a random pop, that was my nose. So
that's the other thing we have to get for these is we got to get windscreens. Or pop filters, rather.
So I don't boop my nose.
Well, that and I'm sure that right now I'm killing it with the way I say words. I have to learn to have technique. And
technique.
So, yeah. So anyways, so that's where the update, the last 12 minutes, the update on the show. It's supposed to be a quick episode. See what happens when we get Celeste out of the room. We just like talking.
This is why we shouldn't face each other when we talk. Because we're like, hey, we're just having a conversation with mics in front of us.
What's going on?
What's up?
Hey, how you doing?
Oh, dear.
All right. So, anyways, we want to apologize for the break in the podcast.
Yes.
If you're watching the YouTube show, you know we've had a crazy several weeks.
Yes.
We had
crazy month in general.
Yeah. It started off with me taking a trip to the Philippines.
Yes.
And the preparation work was a lot more than we thought it was going to be.
It was a lot more intensive because we kept forgetting things. Mm-hmm. That's really what it was.
Had to get last minute shots.
Yeah. Last minute doctor's appointments.
Had to get certain things in order. Had to clean the house a little bit.
Yeah, that was fun.
Had to pack. Had to realize that my suitcase wasn't going to work.
Yeah, and then we had to go hunt down another suitcase. Realized that suitcase wasn't going to work.
Right. Then realized that the airlines that I flew, which while was really nice, has really weird rules.
Yeah, those rules though.
Yeah, but it's a really nice airline too, so I'm really conflicted by it.
Well, I mean,
maybe for international travel, we'll just leave it alone. I don't know.
Maybe that's why it's so nice that they have these really strict rules to keep it nice.
Yeah. So all that, it threw us off, and
then you were gone for 2 weeks.
And then I was gone for basically 2 weeks.
Yeah, basically. Yeah. It was just shy of 2 weeks.
Yeah. And I was in the Philippines. That was fun.
Yeah, we weren't telling a lot of people that because I was not in the Philippines.
Right. And then one of the individuals' spouses that was going with me posted all over Facebook and tagged everybody. Hey, they're leaving for the Philippines.
Yeah, that was fun.
Yeah.
But I don't think that just the mass public that follows Geek Devotions and Comm Talk and all that would have necessarily seen that because you and I keep our personal stuff kind of private.
Yeah. So we did that, but while I was there, I had some fun. Celeste made this little Mew doll.
It's a Pokemon.
Yeah. And I took pictures of him in the Philippines and basically chronicalizing the trip.
Yes.
And it was a lot of fun. And so if you look on Instagram, look for the hashtag travel with Mew, MEW.
So cute. The poor thing. I need to fix it because he's had a rough
trip. He had a rough trip. That trip was rough on all of us. That trip was rough on all of us. I almost took him to the night market, but I was afraid that he was going to get nasty while he was out there.
But Mew would have loved the
I'm afraid somebody would have eaten Mew while we were in the night market.
That is possible.
I had never seen so much food look at me.
I was about to say, I'm afraid some of your food would have eaten Mew.
So that was a thing. So anyways, all that being said, got back from the Philippines.
Yeah.
And but while I was there, Celeste, you had some pretty major life things happening for you and your side of the family.
Yeah. My
Yeah. Celeste is making a not so happy face. So Celeste has two younger brothers from Taiwan. I did a video and screwed it up and said Hong Kong, but I was still jet lagged.
We blame it on the jet lag.
Yeah. And from Taiwan, and her parents adopted them because Celeste is not Asian, just in case anybody missed that.
No, not at all.
In fact, she is like so white.
I reflect light, guys.
Like the word we have a word for how white she is in the church. It's called transfiguration.
It's not that bad. But if I go out into the sun, they do think the lights of Gondor have been lit.
So, but she has these two Asian little brothers, and they both have special needs. One of which, Jeremiah, was far more severe.
Yes.
He had CP, cerebral palsy, which was caused by, what was it called again?
Hydranencephaly.
Right. What exactly is that again?
Hydranencephaly is where basically you have water on your brain. And it's not that you have water necessarily on your brain, like, you didn't clean out your ears after swimming, but some of his brain had such a traumatic event happen. In his case, it was his birth mother drinking and smoking while pregnant. But such a traumatic brain incident happening that his brain couldn't handle it, and it reverted back to fluid.
Oh, man. So, bad deal. They call CP and a variety of other things.
Yes.
And so they adopted him, and they brought him home. The first set of doctors, how long did they give him? It was just a matter of months, wasn't it?
Ish. The doctors in Taiwan did not think he would live past a few months.
Yeah.
He was very sick when we got home. He was very malnourished because he was actually breathing in the food they were feeding him rather than eating it. And so that caused pneumonia, among other things. And so then they, after we got him well from that, after that incident, and we spent a good 31 days in ICU with him.
Wow.
And then they just released us to home from ICU because he was always too severe to go to the main floor. So then we saw a doctor, and they told us that his brain would not support him past the age of 5.
Wow. So 5 years. And what year did you adopt him?
It was 2010.
2010.
Yeah.
And today, this year right now is 2019. So he was almost how old?
He was almost 11.
Wow. I mean, just moment after moment. I mean, you hear the story about him. God really did a lot of work in his life over the years.
We saw so many miracles through his life. So many medical professionals would come in and go, we don't understand how he is still here. We don't understand how his brain is telling his body to breathe because he just did not have enough of a brain that you would look at it and go, well, he should not be alive.
Right.
It's just, it was not he was literally a miracle.
Right. And through that, I mean, God did some other stuff through him even.
Absolutely.
You shared we had the funeral on Wednesday. of this past week.
Surprise ending, guys. He's passed.
Yeah. Well, we kind of mentioned that, so.
I didn't realize you'd said that. I think I blocked it out.
Yeah, he passed away this past week. While he got sick while I was in the Philippines.
Yeah.
And got here on Thursday morning.
Yeah, you got here Thursday.
We went there. They removed the blood pressure medicine, right?
Yeah, they stopped the medication that was telling his heart to beat, that was telling his lungs to breathe, and that was telling his blood pressure to stabilize.
Right.
Because he was so sick that his body had stopped doing that. It's not his brain like they had told us. It was literally an illness.
Right. And even that, them removing that, we saw something really weird take place previously.
Very weird.
What happened during the week while I was gone when the blood pressure medicine just ran out? What would happen?
So we had poor nurses. These poor nurses were having to run from the nurses' station to his room because every time the medication stopped, his blood pressure would plummet.
Right.
I think at one point it was like 60/30, which is not, anyone who knows anything about blood pressure, that is way too low for anyone.
Exactly.
Even a small child.
Yeah. And so that was what was happening all week long while I was away.
Yeah.
I come back on Thursday morning. I take a shower because I needed it. And then we go straight to the hospital and we pray, we say our goodbyes, and they take off the medicine, and we're expecting a tremendous crash, and he doesn't do it.
He stabilizes.
He hasn't stabilized all week.
He hasn't stabilized in 2 weeks. He was actually in the hospital right after you left.
Right.
But it was not as severe. He was sick, and he had been sick plenty of times, so we really didn't think anything about it. I mean, we were concerned, we prayed, but it wasn't this. It wasn't the emotional roller coaster that had been happening since the Saturday before you came home.
Yeah. So he lived for 3 days.
Yeah.
Almost 4 days.
Yeah.
Past that moment, stabilized out of the blue. And so, I mean, it was miraculous.
It was. My mom said he had not had a normal blood pressure or temperature in his entire life, but he stabilized to a normal blood pressure, a normal temperature.
So, unfortunately, like I said, he passed away on that Saturday evening. And again, this for us, we're still recovering. It's been a wild ride.
Yeah.
So, but Celeste actually, you selected to say something, to do a remembrance type of thing, and she did a bang up job. Like people are like crying and they're amening. I think a lady got saved in the back corner. Revival's taking place.
It was not that glamorous.
It was pretty awesome, guys. Just being honest.
There was plenty of snot and tears.
and Wonder Woman poses.
Well, that's the only way I can breathe with asthma.
So, but you said gave a really you got through it. You talked about the first time you met him, and when you realized you really did love the little bugger.
He was a little booger.
And so, and you were like, man, you care about this kid. And then you talked about 3 things you learned from him, things that he's taught you personally. And there's some really good stuff about, not being afraid to use your voice, and then how you can talk without even talking. And then you're going to share a story about how he's impacted your life. But you changed last minute, because I had your script. I'd read it before.
Yeah.
And you changed that point last minute. And instead of talking about yourself and the family and how he's impacted you, you turned it on his head and you talked about somebody else.
Yeah. So I'd been talking the night before with someone that we have known since well before Jeremiah came home. And she was saying that when she met us originally, that she did not want anything to do with God. She was angry at God. Some things had happened in her life that were just very emotionally traumatic. And she was at a point that she was blaming God for all of these things. And it wasn't God's fault, and God has brought restoration to those things. But she just could not handle the thought of God being in her life. Right. And then she met us and walked us through the process of getting Jeremiah, because if you've not internationally adopted a child, it is a process. I think I've had my background check run more times because of those kids than because my parents adopted them after I was 18. So right. I was included in the background checks. Not that I've done anything, but
Oh, good.
I have the background checks to prove it.
I'm glad to hear that. I was worried.
But she watched us go through this, and God was just very provisional through it all, through raising the money, raising the funds, raising the awareness of what was wrong with him, coming home and being at the hospital, and then walking through the doctors are telling us this, and now they're telling us this, going through the how much he needed. His care progressively got more intensive than it was.
Mm-hmm. And through all that, she realized that God was working in miracles, and she came to understand that she was angry at God, but God was not angry at her, and that God loved her and still wanted to be in her life. Yeah. And so it was really amazing to talk to her, because this is a woman, and I knew she was angry at God, but I did not realize what had been the catalyst for the change, or who. Yeah. It's always cool because this is a young man who really, for the last couple years, hasn't made much noises besides kind of, I'm hurting, because he had a trach.
He had a trach, so he was nonverbal. He was already not verbal, but he was loud.
Yeah, he was loud, but he would try to say things kind of through his loudness.
Yeah, he liked to sing, but normally it was just disregardless, out of tune, like baby singing.
Yeah. So, but he impacted this woman and several other people, and it's been interesting to see people come through your parents' house.
Absolutely.
And love on your parents and talk about what he's meant to them. And so, really a very special young man. And understandably, I hope you guys understand, we've had to handle a few things. And so
there's been a lot of stuff going on.
So that brings us to today. And we're not going to have today. We thought about doing the podcast for the 1960s Superman.
The New Adventures of Superman.
Right. The cartoon series.
What we had watched.
Right. And we have some very strong emotions about it.
We do.
And we are looking forward to sharing those with you. But not today. Today we want to give you guys explanation as to why we've been gone, what we've been doing, because for those who are the faithful who listen to the podcast, you're going, where's my podcast? What's happening in the Superman District? Are they ever going to escape? We will escape the Superman District.
We will.
And but not today.
Not today.
So we want to give you guys an update because we love you guys, we care about you, and we appreciate you being part of our community here at Geek Devotions. And that's pretty much what we were doing. This was only supposed to be a 10-minute episode.
And we went so much longer.
Like, I'm looking at the recorder. I'm like 28 minutes in.
Hey, this actually is worth listening to.
I guess so. Maybe.
I don't know.
We hope you guys are encouraged by it.
If you want to hear me get emotional on a podcast, that is it.
There you go. Splice it and share it, guys.
Yay.
So that's what's happening here, guys. Anything else we need to add, Celeste?
No, not really. We appreciate you being patient with us. Yeah. Those of you who listen, we appreciate that we know we have the grace to do these things. We made an update on our YouTube channel about everything that was happening, everything that was going on, and people have really been great. Oh, yeah. Leaving comments that have, while I can't handle reading them all at once, my tear ducts are a little leaky more frequently than normal at the moment.
Exactly.
But yeah, it's been really encouraging. We definitely feel loved. We definitely feel prayed for. Absolutely.
So the way things are working out for the next few weeks here at Geek Devotions and Comm Talk is we're just going to kind of take it day at a time. Where our extra Tuesdays are still going to be rolling forward. And our devotions are going forward. They just may look a little different, may sound a little different, maybe a little bit late on the day. It's coming out those days, but maybe a little bit late. The website's getting updated slowly. This past week we had a article that you wrote, a book review.
I actually finished writing it right before you left.
Yeah, and then I couldn't even I couldn't look at any websites on the computer.
You couldn't look at any websites on the computer. I managed to get my review of Captain Marvel up, and then Jeremiah went into the hospital.
Yep.
And so my whole life went bleep.
Yep, you stopped. So, understandably, though. So, you have the blog up of Taste and See by
Margaret Feinberg is how you say her name.
And it's a really good article. Check it out.
Don't read it hungry.
Yeah, don't read it hungry. Don't read the book hungry. I think you can read the review hungry.
Oh, well, yeah.
I was eating a breakfast sandwich when I was reading it, but I'm pretty sure you can read it.
I didn't talk that much about the food. She talks a lot about food.
But it's about food.
I was very frequently hungry because she's talking about, I don't even like fish.
Right.
Like, I like some fishes, but not a lot of fish.
Like, I'm hungry right now, and we had dinner.
True.
So we may have to go fix this here in a little bit. But anyways, it's up, geekdevotions.com is where you can check it out. I'm working on an Extra Tuesday episode right now in the background.
You are?
I am. And talking about why I like Batman. Because
that's right.
It's been 80 years of Batman this past week, and we did nothing for it. And so I'm going to do...
Because everything is higgledy-piggledy.
Everything is higgledy-piggledy. That's a really weird word that my wife uses.
I like that I made you say it, though.
So, working on that. Hopefully this week, you guys saw come out on our website an article about dealing with grief that our sister, Demara, which she's written for us. She wrote stuff on dealing with depression. She's been on Comm Talk. She's done Geek Devotions episodes for us.
She's like super smart.
Oh yeah, she's very, very smart. But she's also a PLPC, and you
have to be really smart to be a PLPC.
Exactly, and she's just awesome. I mean, she's really, really good at what she does. She came into every place she's ever worked at. People are amazed at how well she does and the change she makes in the environment that she's in. She's really great at stepping in and going, we're going to change things around and changing the environment, being a positive force in people's lives, and especially the clients that she has with her. And so I'm just super proud of my baby sister, in case you guys can't tell. But she wrote an article about how to deal with grief, and hopefully that came out this week. I'm hopefully have it up for you guys on our website tomorrow.
Because
tomorrow being Tuesday this past week?
Wait, is it Tuesday?
Yeah, it's Tuesday. It's Tuesday.
What day is this?
It's Monday today.
What year is it?
We just watched Jumanji.
For the first time.
For the first time Celeste has watched Jumanji. The original Jumanji. But anyway, so that's going to be on the website. And all kinds of cool stuff. We're behind. We're trying to update as best we can. I got a review on the ESV Study Bible journals.
Yeah, that's right.
They got to get on the website. I have 2 devotions I got to get on the website.
2 Extra Tuesdays as well.
Yes.
If not 3.
No, it's just 2. It's just 2. It's the or not just 1 even. Just 1.
Well, it'll be 2 by the time. Well, no.
Possibly. We'll see. Depends on what we do for Tuesday tomorrow.
Oh yeah, Tuesday's tomorrow.
Yeah.
We have an Extra Tuesday, guys.
Yeah. So, like I said, have patience with us, guys, because we're working things out. And so, but like I said, the way things go, we're going to try to do things as normal. I'm probably going to be doing a lot more of the camera work. Just depending on what's going on with Celeste, because she needs time to walk through this process. And if you want to know what this process of grieving is like, check out the article that hopefully is on the website, and also check out our latest episode of Geek Devotions, which is Learning to Grieve, where I talk about the grieving process and some of the stuff that Celeste and I are walking through.
And that would be the video where he said Hong Kong instead of Taiwan.
It was.
So, but to be fair, you had just been in Hong Kong.
I had just been in Hong Kong. I had jet lag, and I hadn't really recovered.
We were not kind to him. We didn't give him a chance to recover before plunging him into the family drama.
Oh, well, it's life. You know, things happen, and it's not new.
No.
Somebody's gone through it before, so I'm not going to sit here and complain like, oh, poor, pitiful me. It's just life, y'all. So, but yeah, so check all that stuff out. Check out what's happening on our YouTube show. we're hoping to start up the Play and Pray soon.
Yes.
And so
and the
that's
Bible
been fun.
study.
And the Bible study, our Tuesday Bible studies. So one of the things I pointed out in the video is that when you're dealing with the grieving process, it's important to do something very important. It's important. Yeah, that's how I need to say it. And that's this. Don't stop. Don't stop your life. Keep living your life. It's not honoring to somebody who's passed away for you just to shut down and not do anything.
Yeah.
You need to take time to recover, but you don't need to shut down completely. So we're not shut down. We're doing some stuff. We're loving on people. We're loving on you, Devoted Geeks. And we're trying to do it in a healthy manner.
Yes.
So, all right. So I think that's everything. Check out our website.
The Twitch.
The Twitch. The Facebook.
When we start doing... Hope Stream.
Oh, you're right. Thank you so much.
Because this will be the only podcast before Hope Stream.
It will be. So Celeste and I are taking part in Hope Stream again this year, which is the 48-hour game stream that Victims and Villains, Josh Berkey, our good friend, our brother in the Lord, and fellow warrior in the geek culture, but we are helping him out with that. It's going to be on his YouTube channel, I believe.
I think so.
And it's going to be a lot of fun. And so check it out. Just type in Victims and Villains on YouTube, and he pops up pretty quickly. And
which, for those of you who don't know about Victims and Villains, he also does a show for us on Extra Tuesdays as Captain Nostalgia, called The Captain's Comic Log.
Which is a great... I look forward to that I
do too,
every
although
month.
I felt really, really bad because you were in the process of going from America to the Philippines, and that's like a 30-hour flight. So it was in the midst of those 30 hours, and I was writing out the review of Captain Marvel. I was like, you know what? I'm going to try and get this up on the site. Now, I don't do a lot of the technical stuff, but I have a notebook that tells me how to do it. And so I'm doing it, I'm figuring out, and I release my review, and I am so proud of myself because you had already made graphics for me. And so I put it all out there, and then I was like, oh, look, Captain's Comic Log released the next day. And I'm like, let me watch this because Dallas set it up. So I'm just going to listen to this. And I was like, oh, he's talking about Captain Marvel. I should have waited and let Captain's Comic Log come out before I published the article. Now I know that article probably still wouldn't be published, but at the time I felt bad for stealing Captain Nostalgia's thunder.
I'm sure he'll forgive you by letting you stream for him.
I think that's exactly what's going to happen.
So, but we're going to be doing that. We're actually going to be on the screen streaming some video games. We're not really sure what we're going to play yet. I got a couple of mystery games.
I have Super Panda Adventures, but I think I'm really close to finishing it. So I'm kind of scared to even play it for fear of finishing it before Hope Stream.
We may have to find you another game to play.
Because I don't have another game.
We may have to find you another game to play. So, but yeah, so please check out Victims and Villains, guys. If nothing else, just check out his content. Check out what he does, because we personally firmly believe in the ministry that he does. Now, he doesn't call it, he calls it a ministry, but he doesn't. It's a podcast where he does reviews on movies and comic books and stuff like that. But the whole crux of it is this: he's trying to reach into culture to reach those who are dealing with depression and suicide.
Yes.
And guys, I'm gonna tell you something. He's doing it right, and we love him to death. He's a great young man. And if you don't listen to Victims and Villains, I want you to pause this podcast, go over in your podcast catcher, and subscribe right now. So we'll wait for you right now. You back? Good. All right, sweet. So now that you subscribe to his channel and to his podcast, just check out his stuff. So yeah, so I think that's it.
I think we're good.
All right, so check out all our stuff, social media, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and the Geek Devotions.
The Twitch and the website.
Yep. The website, geekdevotions.com. We're having fun with these microphones. And
we really are.
Yeah, just be a part of what we do here. And hey, do us a favor, if you're, again, because you guys are the podcast crowd, can you leave us some reviews on iTunes?
Apple Podcasts.
Apple Podcasts, sorry.
Apple
Thank
Podcasts.
you. Because apparently, if you don't have newer reviews on Apple Podcast goes, you're irrelevant, and hides your content from the world.
This information was brought to you by Peter Franson of Christian Geek Central.
Who you should also go check out. In fact, we'll pause, wait a second, and you go check out Christian Geek Central. We'll wait. Okay, good. You're back? Great. So
we're promoting everybody.
Everybody. Geeks Under Grace. Check out Geeks Under Grace. We love those guys too. In fact, here's the deal. You should probably stop subscribing to us and just go subscribe to Geeks Under Grace, Victims of Villains, Retro Rewind Podcast, Christian Geek Central, the Fill and Film Podcast. Who else do I listen to on a regular basis? Where's my phone's in the other room?
I listen to the Trim Healthy podcast, but
go subscribe to them. They're
that's
great.
Not geeky, but they are hysterical.
They are hysterical. You told me some stories about them.
They are hysterical.
Oh my goodness gracious. You should check out Welcome to Level 7. You should check out Strangers and Aliens.
Because they are strange and they have aliens.
You should check out... There's so many podcasts that you should listen to. Why are you listening to us right now? I don't understand.
This is not helping them leave a review for us, dear.
This is not helping them leave a review at all. But there's so many other people that are so much better than us, and we love them, respect them, and it sounds like we're just like being stupid over here, but we legitimately, everyone we just mentioned, we genuinely have love for, and we listen to, and we think that they're a fantastic podcast.
Like, it's one of my goals in life to get onto the Trim Healthy podcast
Is it really?
As a guest. Like, I don't know how it would happen because I'm not at all healthy, but
you're working on it.
Working on it, but I would not have a reason to be on there. But that's like one of my things that I'm like, God, if you can make that happen, it'd be really cool because I think these people are really awesome.
Absolutely. So check all those out, and then don't ever come back to this podcast unless you just are really, really bored, because
we are
clearly
great
you have,
for really, really bored.
Yeah, but clearly you have much better people to listen to, because they're so much more regular than us, and not in like the awkward Fiber One regular. Like, they're just legitimate, really good people. So Celeste is dying over here. We're going on 41 minutes. This was a 10-minute podcast.
We're so sorry, guys. If you're still with us, we're so sorry.
So yeah, Geeks Under Grace, Retro Rewind, Fill and Film, Christian Geek Central, Victims of Villains.
We're just going to screenshot our podcast catchers and post it with this episode.
This sounds great. So anyways, we're going to kill this, because this is why we need a plan.
Like, we should. This is what happens when we don't have a script.
This is what happens when we don't have a script. We just talk.
Like, I don't even remember the outro. I say it every time, and I don't remember it.
Thank you so much for taking time to listen to this podcast. Do us a favor, leave a review on Apple Podcasts, and it's really much appreciated. Celeste is dying over here. All right, guys. Well, until next time, remember,
stay devoted.
Peace and love.